Hey Aquarius, I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with a timeless reading. What I was seeing in the pre-shuffle was something going on related to there being progress or there being movement. It can feel like breaking out of something that you'd been in. It can also feel like a breakthrough or yeah, I'm seeing it more closely be connected with a breakthrough. For some of you, it's going to come in the form of a conversation or information that comes in. This can be like you get communication, or it can be finally communication about something that feels important. It can be maybe information that you didn't have before. And it can be something where it allows things to get moving then, maybe in a way that they hadn't been before. We're starting off with Two of Cups, with King of Wands, Seven of Cups, Ten of Cups, Eight of Wands. The Death card. Knight of Swords. Okay, Two of Cups and King of Wands. This can be something that you've been trying to figure out that has to do with a relationship. There can be something confusing that's been going on with you and another person. This can be like, I don't know how that person feels, or I'm trying to figure out how I feel. Having the King of Wands here, this is either... If you are the King of Wands, the way that you operate is it being important knowing what you feel drawn to and what you don't feel drawn to, because wands are connected with fire, and so fire is connected with the magnetism of stuff. And so you want to know, like, is this in resonance with me, and am I feeling attracted? Like, I see fire as being very connected with what we're like attracted to, drawn to, or feel the opposite of that, sort of like pushed away from. It's sort of like the way that fire operates in my head anyway. So having Two of Cups, this is about what you hold near and dear to you. I'm seeing two court cards here on top of each other, so this feels like a connection with you and another person, most likely. It doesn't have to be. This can also indicate if you don't have something going on with another person, what this can mean is there's something going on within you where you're focusing on how you're feeling. You're focusing on the different parts of yourself, and this can be like a homecoming to two parts of yourself that now you're bringing onto the same page to work with one another. And it can be something that, like, maybe you're trying to come to terms with something about something that you want to do here, that you're going through the process of figuring out how you feel to then know how to take action. Because when we have the King of Wands, it shows you being in a position where it's going to be important for you to do something. It's coming to a time where it's going to be on you to take action. But when we have the Seven of Cups, it can be like, I'm not really sure how to do that yet. I'm not really sure totally how I'm feeling yet, or I'm feeling like this, and then in the next moment I'm feeling like that, and then I don't want to make a decision based off of one thing when that doesn't sort of encompass the whole experience that I'm having. And having it lead to the Ten of Cups here, this is about what brings you joy. This is about what allows you to feel a sense of peace and happiness and equilibrium within your life. And so this can be the process of what you're trying to figure out right now. What I'm seeing then is that there's a movement. Where is the movement going when we have Eight of Wands here? It's going right into death. So what this means is that you are moving into, I'm going to separate these actually, you are moving into a period of transition. It looks like you're going right for it. When we have Death card, this can be a time of surrender that's going to be happening. This can be a time of letting go that's going to be happening. This can be a time of psychological change, spiritual change. Death means too that anything that you've been trying to hold on to, that you're holding on to but it's out of alignment, this can be a time where you surrender those things. Because death is only going to ask you to hand over stuff that's not in alignment anymore. It's stuff that's not in resonance anymore. When I say in alignment, I'm speaking about the resonance having to do with your core values. So if you're holding on to any shred of something that is not fully aligned, it looks very much with Eight of Wands moving into the Death card, like you're going right into what is going to be a big, big change for you. As death is going to be, it can feel like a very big life shift that happens. Okay. Now I'm starting to see. So there's a part of you that is the Knight of Swords that is becoming activated. What is it activated for, by? Like, what is the purpose of this? The energy of the Knight of Swords is the part of you that you're going to take action swiftly. You don't need to wait around. Once you understand something, once it's computing for you, once it's making sense for you, you want to go and you want to take action. You want to do it immediately. You want to say what needs to be said or do what needs to be done. Like, it's going to be swift, kind of like the way that a knife would cut something, like a very sharp knife would cut something. Seeing this be connected with the Ten of Cups, this is, I'm taking action on behalf of my pursuit of happiness. I'm taking action on behalf of my joy, on behalf of my pleasure, on behalf of my peace, on behalf of my fulfillment, on behalf of what is resonating with me. Meaning, you're not going to be motivated to take action off of something that you feel like this is going to cultivate unhappiness within my life. This is something where you're motivated by a desire to cultivate joy and happiness and resonance within your life, which sometimes asks us to make hard choices, but it's going to be for the type of results that we want to experience. So that's how I'm seeing that be connected. What I'm seeing too is that with this Two of Cups, this can be a close relationship that you have, that seeing this Four of Cups, this can be something that feels like it's not so much resonating with you right now. This can be somebody that you have in your life or somebody that you're connected with or something, because Two of Cups, yes, it can be another person, but it can also be like, I go to this gym every day and I'm starting to feel like this isn't the vibe anymore. Maybe I want to find a new place to start working out. It can be something like that you have going on, that you feel like I'm unified with this thing or I'm connected with this thing, but right now I'm not sure that really resonates with me. And so this can be a bit of a turnover that's going to be happening within the energy, because this is kind of like, I don't know if I want to be tied to that anymore. I don't know if I want to be connected to that anymore. And as I said before, sure, this can be a person, but it can be a habit. It can be an activity. It can be sort of a role that you've assigned yourself. It can be a person. So lots of different things that it can be, but I'm seeing Two of Cups in this instance as being like you and something else that are sort of bound or tied together or connected in some way. And having this Four of Cups feels like I'm not really feeling that connection right now. And you can also be feeling like I'm not feeling the joy right now. I'm not feeling the peace right now. I'm not feeling the stability right now emotionally. Maybe this is feeling like something that's kind of up and down. And having Eight of Cups come into question, you can be saying, is this something that it's time to retire this? Is this something where it's time to unlock this and unchain myself from this or from them? Is this no longer aligned? And having this Seven of Cups here and having Queen of Swords says, do not jump to do anything yet. Take the time to actually figure out how you're feeling, what's going on before you do something about this, because the Queen of Swords is a part of you that's not going to be like, I'm feeling off today, or I haven't been feeling this for a week and now I'm just going to immediately do something without totally, fully, completely understanding how I'm feeling. The part of you that is the Queen of Wands is the part of you that is going to take the time to analyze everything that you're experiencing, why you're feeling that way, what is that connected to, and then what are the implications of that. Because right now I know I have to take the temperature. I did take the temperature, and what I'm feeling like is something is going on here that I feel like I need to be looking into. So having this Ten of Cups be connected with Four of Cups, why am I not feeling the joy? Why am I not feeling like things are all right now? Especially given your connection with this particular thing. I'm seeing it be specifically connected with that. And what this means too, and what this can shed light on as well, is your connection with yourself. Maybe by you being connected with something externally, it is disconnecting you from a part of yourself, and maybe that's why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. Maybe it's asking you to, your connection with something is maybe asking you to sacrifice or compromise your connection of sense of feeling at home with yourself, and it's asking you to sacrifice something in a way of moving out of resonance with yourself. So that being said, this looks like there can be a part of you with the Knight of Swords that is like, I need to get in here, I need to understand this, I really want to look into this. There may be a conversation possibly for some of you, or just I'm going to put a concerted effort into trying to figure this out. Do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to stay connected with this? Or is this something that I want to break away from? Then the next part of this is figuring out, like, what are my feelings about that? I'm not really sure. There's a part of me that maybe wants to leave. There's also a part of me that wants to stay here. Like, what part of this is my true feeling? Sort of what's below the surface? Am I just having like a bit of a mood swing this week, or however long this has been going on? Or is this something that's like a deeper truth within me that is really time that I acknowledge this? So there's going to have to be sort of a dwelling into that. And with Queen of Swords, this is the part of you from a more logical standpoint. You're going to break down your emotions. So there's not just water here where it feels very chaotic and disorganized as far as what you're feeling, like you don't totally understand it. This is bringing the logic. This is bringing the understanding when we have the swords here, connecting with the water energy. Seven of Cups, Queen of Swords. So basically, Seven of Cups is all of the stuff that you're feeling. Queen of Swords is the part of you that's going to make sense of all of it. It's going to analyze all of the data of how you're feeling and sort of compare it to your joy, what's in resonance with you, sort of the experience that you are wanting to cultivate, and then what the disconnection is from that, essentially. Like, why, if this is how it would be like normal for me in my like normal state when things are aligned and peaceful within my life, this is how I feel, and I'm feeling like this instead, like, what's going on? How do I get from here to over there? Like, what is the missing link, essentially? So that's what's basically being worked out. This is like an energetic math problem that you're doing. going into a space of reflection about this. Having the Death card, I do feel like a couple different things that this can indicate, sort of as I said before when the Death card first came out, this can be maybe something is really ready to be cut out of your life with Scorpio. It can be that you're ready to surrender something now. This can also be ready for a psychological change, ready for an energetic change. But in a way where this is the type of change that's connected with Scorpio is more so peeling back the layers. So the part of you that you don't really need, that is a shell, sort of peels back. So it's a change that's associated with you evolving rather than devolving. Although when we have the energy of Scorpio with the Death card, if we're not really honoring ourselves and honoring our truth, this can be a time where we devolve actually. Like, just as you can go forward, you can also go backwards as well. And so if you're not in a place of truth with yourself, because the progress available to you is connected with the amount of truth you're able to hold, having to do with yourself, like you're willing to be present to and acknowledge. So if there's some type of denial of feelings, trying to run away from something because it's difficult, challenging, because of pain, because of suffering, because of like what's going to happen then, like fear, this is stuff that can take you backwards, definitely. It's kind of like you're on a bridge right now and you can move forward and you can feel like you'll make progress if you move forward to continue evolving, or you can go backwards at this point. So I'm seeing you move into a space when we have Hermit here where this can be a lot of thought that you're putting into. If I make this choice, how would that change things? If I make this other choice, how would that change things? Like, what would this do? What am I being guided to do here? What do I think is best for me? And also, too, what am I prioritizing? Am I prioritizing familiarity over truth? Am I prioritizing comfort or things staying the same over a truth that I'm coming to recognize that's developing within myself? So you can also be seeing, like, how have you been denying yourself your peace and joy in pursuit of happiness? Maybe where you weren't seeing that you were doing it before, and recognizing that this has been at your hand, which is a beautiful thing to see, because you know it. When you acknowledge that things like that are under your control, it means that you can also connect back with the things that you want to connect with. If it's been you that's denying yourself your pursuit of happiness or joy or peace within your life, it's also you that can give yourself access to that, rather than some like invisible hand or it being under somebody else's control, that they're just keeping you away from your joy and whatnot. This is something where when you recognize it's you, you can let yourself have that access rather than it being up to something that has nothing to do with you. So there's empowerment within that. There's also responsibility within this. A stressful time, I think, both with you and yourself, and with you and whatever this is, whoever this is that you are connected with. Feels like a lot is going on. Feels like a lot is changing as well. You can also know that this can be something that's happening on a subtle level where it may not feel like you set out to like make some big type of change, but you're just naturally moving along sort of your cycles and your processes, and now something within you is blooming, and it can be something really big sort of within you that's sort of erupting, that's surfacing here, and it can be putting a lot of pressure on you. Seeing Death card be connected with Ten of Wands, these are the changes that become you, essentially. These are the the ways that you evolve and sort of the, like, are you going to give that up? Are you going to align with your truth? Are you going to keep moving? Are you going to keep evolving? Are you going to deny this change within you and then feel like you're out of alignment? Or are you just going to have to surrender totally to this, to allow this to go and to move with the flow of it? But it can be feeling really difficult. There can be some really big changes that you've been implementing or that you feel are being asked to be implemented. And it can feel like, now this, I have to do this too, and now I have to do that, and now this is changing over here. This can just feel like, as far as the transitions that you're making and the changes that are happening that you're potentially going with or either denying, it can just feel like a lot that's going on. And then also too, having this Five of Cups on the bottom of the deck can be like, I'm having a hard time accepting that this is what it is right now. Like, I'm also grieving the things that I'm surrendering to the Death card, that I'm surrendering to the changes that I know I have to surrender in order to evolve, in order to continue moving, in order to grow, in order to honor my path. Especially because Death card is connected with your dharmic path, with when you're with your nature, and not denying that in a way where you know that when something becomes a truth for you, that you have the choice to acknowledge that, and when you do, there is empowerment within that, versus wanting to deny it or push it down or push it away, because then you're going to have to do the difficult things. So this can be a, am I shying away from stuff that's difficult or challenging, even though I know that this is my truth, even though I know this is what my soul is asking of me? Or am I allowing myself to flow with this process? Because there can be some resistance here with the Five of Cups. Like, why is this happening now? Like, why is this happening to me? Like, why couldn't I have just remained ignorant to this? Like, those types of, I wanted this to be different. I thought this was going to be different. Like, I thought this was going to be happening. Like, you know, coming back to the thing with the gym or whatever, like the example, it can be like, I signed on and I thought that I was going to be staying here, or like, I got hired at this job and I thought that I was going to be here for longer, or I got into this relationship and I thought that we were going to be together, or, you know, it's like that type of stuff where the expectations that you had of what you thought it was when you sort of signed on for these things, even like starting down a certain path, maybe this has to do with your spiritual path, and now even though you know you're progressing, there are some really challenging, difficult things being asked of you. And it can be stuff where you're like, there's a part of me that doesn't want to let this go. There's a part of me that doesn't want to surrender. And so there's basically like a looking in that's happening at the landscape, essentially, and what is really begging for you to surrender those things now, because it's out of alignment, and you know that they're out of alignment. Still, that it can feel really difficult to let those things go. Because when we have the energy of Scorpio here, like, I see the opposite energy be the thing that's trying to pull you backwards, and we would see the opposite of Scorpio as being the Taurian energy, and the Taurus energy within you can be like, I don't want to break these habits. I don't want to get outside of my routine. I'm going to have to develop a new routine, or these things that I've collected around me that I wanted to keep. I didn't want to have to surrender it. I invested. I don't want to be like losing this investment, even though it's not aligned for me anymore. So those things about like, I've been gathering this stuff and collecting this stuff, and I find it to be valuable, even though it's not valuable to your path anymore. It was at a certain point, it's not so much anymore. And so these are the things that are meant to change. But the part of you that's like still sort of adjusting to that, that's what's coming into place now. If you are going into this seeking truth for yourself, that is what you will find. And you will also be required to surrender things that, it's not like you're asked to, I mean, sometimes you're asked to surrender things that you're like, okay, that's fine, take it. But Death card can come through and say, no, give me that thing that you've been telling yourself is the most precious thing, but it's out of alignment now, hand it over. And it's like that thing that we still want to hold on to. Like, I thought that I was going to need this, or like, what if I need it later, or whatever. And death is like, no, you need to hand it over, or you can't pass through the gate. So you kind of, like, it's your choice if you want to keep moving or not, but you can't pass through unless you surrender the thing. Like, unless you allow the change to happen, unless you give it up. And you're going to be purified by that fire. At the same time, we can feel very uncomfortable when it comes to the change. The beautiful thing about Scorpio is that it's meant to, one of the lessons of Scorpio is that it's meant to teach you inner resilience, that anything can be going on externally, but like nothing can touch your soul. And so you can always rest safely within that, find peace within that. And that when you are aligned with the truth within your soul, like anything can be happening externally and you're still going to be good, you're still going to be fine. So it's meant to sort of like build that up within you, that like what you need is going to be provided for you. And if you're being asked to surrender something, it's because it's not part of your path any longer. But yeah, it can be so much easier said than done. These can be truths that we very much already know, but then when it comes to us having to actually cough it up, you know, what's being asked of us, it can be really difficult to do the thing. So that's where I'm seeing us be. I'm looking at Scorpio and I'm looking at Virgo here. All right, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.